All right. Hey, everybody. Teching 101 here. And we're going to start this off with a little bit of music. We're going to start this off with a sea shanty. Sing along. You know the words. Oh, what will we do with a drunken sailor? What will we do with a drunken sailor? What will we do with a drunken sailor? Early in the morning, way hey and up she rises, way hey and up she rises, way hey and up she rises, early in the morning. Almost ran out of breath there, but I got it. All right. So this is my only guitar, as you can see. The finest instrument Dollar Tree has to offer. Ah, lovely. All right, I'm just going to put this over here in this pumpkin's eye. There we go. That's good. Remember this series, Rolls on the High Seas? Yeah. It was a series I started about 2 years ago. The premise was pretty simple. Going through each of the jobs that the Straw Hats had, so like captain, doctor, chef, and actually looking like historically into the actual Great Pirate Era. Not the Great Pirate Era that is in One Piece right now, but the Great Pirate Era in our world, like around like the 17th, 18th century, stuff like that. And like what were those positions like on actual pirate ships and the like. So I did 4 of those videos. We talked about captains, first mates, the scholars, so like Robin's position, and we also talked about Sanji's position as the cook. Okay, that was the last video we did. And then I also said that at the end of every video, I would roll a dice to determine which one I'm going to talk about next. And it was a musician. And I thought, well, why not continue this? This seems like a fun video series, so why not, right? So yeah, musicians during the age of piracy. Did pirate ships have musicians? Or rather, yes, of course they did. Like, I'm sure plenty of people could play instruments, but were there dedicated musicians on pirate ships? Like, could you be accepted onto a pirate ship just because, like, you knew how to play a fiddle or whatever? So, how were rock and roll skeletons a thing back in the day, right? Well, I'm going to tell you something very shocking right now. Skeletons were all over the place back then. And in fact, skeletons still continue to this day, because I'll tell you right now, and this might shock you, you might want to sit down for this. You are a skeleton watching this right now. I'm a skeleton too. I know, kind of weird when you think of it that way, right? Yeah, no, okay. So here's the deal. Music has always been a part of, human culture, like literally as far back as you can go. You could go back to a bunch of cavemen living out in the middle of nowhere, pounding sticks against rocks, and somebody was going to figure out, like, hey, wait a minute. Holy shit, I invented music! Somebody invented it somewhere, right? Music has always been part of us, and of course it should not be a big surprise that, yes, of course, there were musicians on pirate ships. Not just pirate ships, but any kind of sailing vessel. Back in the day, it took a really long time to get from point A to point B, when you're on a big wooden ship with sails and the wind is just kind of the only way you're moving, right? So you also have a lot of stuff to do on the ship, and what keeps people motivated, keeps the morale up, is a jaunty tune. You know what I mean? Now, were there dedicated musicians? Could you get on a pirate ship as like your job, your only job, is to play the fiddle or the fife or to sing a song? Probably not. It's one of those things that, you join up on a ship. And also keep in mind, back in the day, there was very limited amounts of entertainment compared to today. You can't just pull out your phone back in the year 1690 and listen to a podcast. They didn't even have a Bop It Extreme back then, right? So, probably a lot more people were good at singing, or at least playing a simple instrument. You could probably pick up like something like a tin whistle or something and just like, you could throw something. That was almost like Caesar Clown's laugh for a second. Probably more people could do that because there really wasn't a lot of other entertainment factors in the situation, right? So, yeah, a lot of people that joined up for pirate ships and were sailing around, many of them could play an instrument, and for various reasons, you would bust out those instruments and you'd play. Now, what reasons were those? Well, as I mentioned earlier, there's a lot of rhythmic things going on a ship, okay? Any kind of sailing ship, right? Things need to be hoisted. Things need to be battened down. There's hatches, and of course, and there's planks that need walking, and there's barrels that need lugging around, There's lots of stuff that needs done on a ship. There's anchors that need lowering and hoisting, Yeah, it's just how it goes. I've been on a pirate ship. Rustage has been on a pirate ship. He would be more of an expert on this than I would. But, all that stuff goes a lot faster when you're listening to music, right? Which was very upsetting whenever I did work at Dollar Tree and a lot of other places like in retail. Like, big man, unloading this truck would go a lot faster if I had some music in the background. And it depends. Some places where you work, if you're in some kind of like corporate situation, retail, where you got to unload things and move stuff around a back room, be like, hey, can I like put in some headphones, or can I hook up a Bluetooth speaker and listen to some Black Sabbath while I'm doing this or something? And I guess some places don't care, and other places would be like, no, company policy, you're not allowed to do that. You're not allowed to have fun while doing any of this. He's like, yeah, but it'll probably make it go a lot faster and more efficient. He's like, nah, sorry, you can't be doing that, right? So, yeah, things go a lot faster when you got music, so, you're playing a song in the background. So for things like that, you would have a song like Drunken Sailor. That was an actual sea shanty. And you may keep in mind, just by the lyrics, I'd never really heard this before, but just by listening to it on YouTube, you pick up the lyrics pretty quickly. They're not very complicated songs. It's just simple lyrics, repetition, and a good beat. What will we do with a drunken sailor? What will we do with a drunken sailor? What will we do with a drunken sailor? Early in the morning. You gotta stress the early. Or it's not early, it's early! So this version I was listening to was by the Irish Rovers. So a lot of these songs, of course, have been performed by actual bands, in the present. So can't exactly play them on YouTube, copyright and whatnot. But go check out Drunken Sailor by Irish Rovers. Great song, and I was listening to it in the lead up for this. So this is the kind of very simple rhythmic song. You listen to it for like 5 seconds and you got the lyrics. It's like, oh man, I don't know this one. It's like, what will we do with a drunken sailor? What will we do with a drunken sailor? All right, I think I'm getting the song here. You just kind of repeat it over and over again, and then you're doing the stuff. As for what instruments they would have a bunch of stuff, but like simple instruments. We're not talking about really complex things. Like pianos existed in this time period, but I don't think you're lugging a grand piano on a pirate ship, all right? So yes, while Brooke is capable of pretty much playing anything, and the Sunny, I'm sure, can accommodate all sorts of instruments, does the Sunny have a music room? I don't think Frankie would have built one because Brooke was not a member when he built the Sunny, but I'm sure he could have added one of the rooms to convert it into a music room later on. We need to explore the Sunny more often. We need to see like what Brooke does. Like, where does Brooke compose his music in his spare time? There's got to be a music room on the Sunny, right? So we have really simple instruments. Like, we have a fife, which would just be like a carved piece of wood, like a very simple like flute. Obviously doesn't look like a modern day flute, but you just like wood wind instrument. You just have little holes and you just like cover them with your hands, and you just, I've never played an instrument in my life. It's probably showing, but it's a fife. There you go. It's like, I got a fife, right? There were also little metallic whistles called tin whistles. Same basic thing, little small thing you probably just shove in a pocket or a bag or something like that, pull it out and just be like, just play a little shanty or whatever. Drums, I mean, kind of anything can be a drum. You could just pick up an oar or something and just be like, something like that, right? Playing the oar like a drum. That's a paddling, there you go. And some people on the ship might even have a fiddle or a violin. From what I understand, a fiddle and a violin are basically the same instrument in terms of the way it's designed. It's just like, it's more considered like a violin when you're playing classical music in like more formal settings. And then it's a fiddle when you're doing like really high speed, like country folk bluegrass kind of stuff, right? Let me know if there's a tangible difference, but I really couldn't find one. Maybe it's like different slightly in the way that you like string the violin or what the fiddle or whatever, and you like do some adjustments and tweak some things. But in terms of like the overall shape and size of the instrument, nothing really changes. Also, I mean, like being compact, like I said, is the key here. Something that you could just put in a bag or something and then just bring onto the ship, and it's just like, hey, we need some music. What has somebody got? And it'd be like, oh, I got my fiddle here. It's like, okay, pull it out and just start, doing a little shanty, and then there you go. And, also, I mean, you're probably not going to music shops a lot to buy this stuff. Like, when it comes to fifes and stuff, you could probably just carve it yourself. People knew how to whittle more back then. So, just get a piece of wood that you like off of a tree and just like, yeah, I'm going to whittle me a fife and just, there you go. When it comes to a fiddle or a violin, probably needs to be built by somebody that actually knows what they're doing on how to construct a finely balanced instrument, something like that. But yeah, those are the kind of things that you might see. Also, bagpipes. Bagpipes stretch back, thousands of years. So they would have been around during the time that pirates existed in like the Caribbean in like the late 1600s, when it was like the height of piracy. So yeah, break out the Scottish bagpipes, like whatever you can bring on a ship that doesn't take up a lot of space, is probably fair game here. All right. And I'm sure the other sailors will be very happy at any diversity of instruments that you had to add a little bit more flair to the music numbers and everything. Now, does that mean that at certain points pirates just broke out into random musical numbers like it's High School Musical or something like that? Maybe, I don't know. It had to have happened a couple of times. Everybody's on the ship, they're at sea, it's boring, it's dull, and then it's just like, guys, let's rock out. Let's jam out, just like my dad used to say. When I would get home from school when I was a little kid, my dad would give me dinner, and then he would help me with my homework. And then after that, after my homework was all done, I would go and play Super Nintendo or PlayStation or something. And my dad would be like, all right, I'm going to go up in my room and jam out. And my dad had this big stereo system in his room, and he would just go down there and lay in his bed, and he'd pull out his little remote for the stereo system and just listen to, Pink Floyd or AC/DC or the Allman Brothers or whatever my dad was into. So I'd be downstairs playing the PlayStation or whatever, and I'd just see my dad would just be rocking out upstairs. And that's yeah. So, pirates might have done that too. There might have been spontaneous musical numbers that have been lost to the ages. Who knows? What also is interesting is while we do know some sea shanties, like Drunken Sailors, Blow the Man Down was another one, Spanish Ladies was one. That was more of a leisure song. That was not more of like a fast-paced, like, hey, everybody, let's get the work done and sing a song while we're at it to get it done quicker, right? Spanish Ladies, also a really good one. You could look it up on YouTube. That was more of like a relaxing kind of like, it's leisure time on the ship. Now it's like later in the evening, let's play a nice song just to kind of like relax everybody, right? And everybody would sing along with these kind of stuff too. Sally Brown is another one. That'd be like when they got to port and like hoisting up the anchor, they'd sing something like that. But they would also sing songs, as you can imagine. I mean, these songs are the ones that, were prevalent enough during that time period that lasted to the modern age. But there were other songs, too, that have just been lost to the ages that we'll just never know about. It could be something as simple as there was one ship sailing, and maybe something interesting happened with that specific crew on that specific voyage. And it was maybe an interesting story or maybe a funny story, and they whipped up a song about it on the spot because, nothing else to really, it's like, oh, okay, this is an interesting thing that happened to our crew. I'll think of a song, and then by dinner time, I'll just sing it. And just, sometimes I'm sure they would just make shit up as they went, right? Like, let's say, let's do one right now. Let's say you're sailing around, and, I don't know, sailors having a little bit too much to drink, a little bit too much grog, which we've discussed before. Grog was disgusting. It was just basically watered down booze, or it was booze that it was more water than booze. It was water that was sterilized with booze to keep it like its shelf life going longer. So that's basically what it was. But like Billy the pirate over there is drunk on grog, and he looks off the port side and he's like, oh, guys, there's the mermaid over there. And then they're like, what, a mermaid? Oh my God, I haven't seen a woman in months. And then they turn to port and they go and they find out it was just a manatee the entire time, right? So everybody goes away for a little bit, and then later in the day, by dinner time, everyone's singing a song shitting on Billy because he thought he saw a mermaid, but it was a manatee. And just like, oh, Billy was a sailor upon this fine ship. One day he got drunk, and boy, he turned into a dick. He's like, or started thinking with his dick. That was better. So maybe he's like, they just make it up as they go, and people are, pounding on the barrels as drums, and you got somebody up there with his fiddle, and then pretty soon everybody's roasting Billy. But that could have happened. That could have totally happened, and that was a song that maybe that one crew sang at that one time, and maybe they sung it for a little while, and then it was just lost in the annals of history, and then nobody, sung it again after that. Probably a lot of songs like that back in the day, right? So, yeah, that was the role of musicians on the crew. And once again, the musician wouldn't have been just a musician. You would have had, like, maybe the ship's doctor, the Sawbones. He was also really good on a fife. Or one of the cooks could also also be good on a fiddle or something. It was just like, it wasn't something that was set. People would just get together and sing songs and merriment whenever they had a leisure time to do so or to get stuff done, right? I don't know, would there be battle music? You probably wouldn't be able to do battle music because, like the sound of the cannon fire would kind of drown that out a little bit there, right? And I don't know. Maybe if one pirate crew lands on an island and they're fighting against, members of the, the Royal Navy or something, or another pirate crew or something like that. I don't know. It's like they're fighting with their cutlasses and everything, and somebody in the background is like, "Hey guys, I have an idea. Instead of fighting, I'll play this fiddle." It's like, "Damn it, Billy! Pick up a sword and fight, you dumbass." Well, actually, okay, that is actually, I'm moving to the beat. Battle music, let's go. And maybe they won the fight. Who can say, right? That's the whole idea with Scratchman Apu. He's got his fighting music, Maybe a pirate invented, a genre of music that wasn't invented later for like hundreds of years or something like that. Maybe a pirate way back in the 17th century invented rap. He starts doing diss tracks on the other pirates or on the Royal Navy or something. And it was really demoralizing to them, and then the pirates won the fight. So all the pirates win, and then they look over at the dude that just invented rap, and they're just like, "Dude, how did you do that?" It's like, "I don't know. I just felt the music flow through me, like it was a flow or something." It's like, "Yeah, that was really cool. We never heard anything like that." He's like, "Wow, I can't wait to get back home and tell everybody about this." And then the dude that invented rap died of scurvy or something on the way back, and then it was just lost to the annals of history for a while. Maybe. Who can tell, right? Okay. Well, anyway, that's this episode on the musicians of the pirating world. Hope you all enjoyed. Well, we are going to now roll a D10 to determine what next topic we're going to discuss. I might as well just do all of these while I'm away in Mexico. That seems like a good thing to throw out there to you guys while I'm gone. All right, here we go. So it just goes by numbers 1 through 10 based on the Straw Hat's position on the ship. So we rolled a 9 last time, so that's Brooks' number on the ship, so he's the musician. So yeah, and if we rolled something we already did, I'll re-roll. So 2, so I think we already covered the vice captains, the first mates, so we'll re-roll. And we got a 10, so that is Jinbei, which would be the helmsman position. All right, so next time, we will talk about what it was like to steer the ship, to be the designated driver of a pirate ship. What was that like? All right, thanks for watching, everybody. This will be Teching, signing out. I love this jacket. It's fabulous.